Hello, I'm Father Kenneth Metz, a priest here at All Souls Catholic Church in Sanford, Florida. If you've come to view this video, that means that you're looking and wondering about funerals here at All Souls. My job is to simply share with you a few things about funerals which are really important for Catholics. First of all, it is important to know that we have something called the Order of Christian Funerals. This is the way the Catholic Church, through thousands of years of preparation, has kind of coalesced everything so that we can bring our faith together with the death of one of our fellow Christians. There are three parts in the Order of Christian Funerals. The first part is the Vigil. The Vigil is ordinarily held at a place where people can gather and can talk. They share stories about the person who has died. They share their faith with one another. And the Vigil itself is composed of reading some scripture, along with perhaps a homily and prayers for the person who died and for those who have survived and are still there gathering together. This is a perfect time for telling stories, a perfect time to give a eulogy. The second rite is the celebration of the funeral liturgy itself. This rite is the central act of worship in Catholic funeral practices. The celebration of the funeral Mass is the preferred sacred action at a Christian funeral. It's at the Mass when we anticipate the heavenly banquet our loved one has already moved on to. As Jesus put it, "Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood shall live forever." Our participation in the Mass is our entrance into that already. Now, at times it might be appropriate to celebrate a funeral liturgy without Mass, but this would be by way of exception, as a funeral Mass may be celebrated only in a church, never in a private home or a funeral home. In those cases, one might possibly use the ritual without the Mass. The third and final funeral rite is the Rite of Committal. This committal is prayed at the place of burial in a cemetery. It is a leave-taking as we commit a person's human remains to the place of eventual resurrection. This ritual, like the other two rites preceding it, is filled with scriptures and prayer, not only for the faithful departed, but also for those who remain here on earth. I'm often asked questions by those preparing or planning a Catholic funeral. I want to share just three of them with you. The first question is this: is cremation permitted by the Catholic Church? And the answer is yes, it is. The only reason it would not be allowed and had not been allowed before was if the person viewed cremation as a sign of denial of the resurrection. The cremated remains must be buried during or shortly after the Rite of Committal. We do this because we want to always treat the remains with respect. Therefore, they are not permitted to be kept at home or used in objects such as necklaces. Question 2, must the body be present for the funeral liturgy if you're going to have a cremation? Well, the ritual prefers that the body of the deceased is there for the funeral liturgy. In this case, if there will be a cremation, it would happen after the Mass, before the burial. However, the funeral liturgy may be celebrated in the presence of the cremated remains. If no remains are present at all, a memorial Mass would then be celebrated in place of a funeral liturgy. And thirdly, are eulogies permitted or appropriate during a funeral liturgy? Well, eulogies, which speaking well of the dead, are best presented before the funeral rite or before the funeral liturgy. The reason is that the liturgy always speaks of the mystery of Christ's death and resurrection, the source of deepest meaning in life. Anything said within liturgical prayer then should reflect on that grace and goodness of God first, and then on the life of the deceased in that context. So please read the rest of the All Souls website here for more details. May the Lord bless you as you continue to prepare for the funeral of your loved one. May God bless you.